Thank you for joining us today. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on financial assistance for domestic students. I'm Shamila, the International Student Connect Program Coordinator at Costa Immigrant Services. I will be walking you through the webinar today. Thank you for joining. In my presentation, I will share several links with you. You are not required to write them down, as we will provide you with the web links at the end of the webinar. In this webinar, you will learn about the financial assistance available to domestic post-secondary students in Ontario. We will begin by discussing the cost of higher education and the types of financial support available. We will then talk about OSAP, which is the student loan and grant system available to all residents of Ontario. We will also discuss the different sources of funding available from your school, such as scholarships. And finally, we will look at some additional options available from private sources. First, I will talk about cost of higher education. For college programs in Ontario, the average cost of tuition for one academic year ranges from $2,500 to $5,000 for domestic students. University fees in Ontario can vary depending on the institution and program. At the university level, domestic students can expect to pay around $6,000 to $8,000 per year for undergraduate programs and approximately $7,000 to $15,000 per year for graduate programs. Keep in mind, these are just tuition fees. Additional costs like student fees, books, and materials can add another $2,500 or more, depending on your program and school. For detailed and up-to-date information, be sure to check the college and university websites listed on the slide. Expenses like rent, utilities, phone and internet, transportation, and food will really depend on your lifestyle and where you will be living in Ontario. Living in a big city like Toronto will likely cost more than living in a smaller town. It's a good idea to budget and plan ahead based on your specific location and needs. To get a better idea of how much it might cost to live in your chosen city, you can use the Numbeo website link. Living with family is the least expensive option, but it is not possible for everyone. The cost of living on campus varies by institution, location, and the type of residence and meal plan. In Toronto, the cost of single suite residence is approximately $15,000 for one academic year, including a meal plan. Living off campus can be less expensive depending on your housing choices, lifestyle, and the city you live in. Even if you live in shared housing and manage your expenses carefully, you will likely need a minimum of $1,500 per month to cover rent, food, transportation, and other essentials. However, $2,000 per month is a more realistic estimate for most students living in urban areas like Toronto. Now we will talk about the types of financial support. As the costs of higher education continue to rise, students must consider many different sources of funding. Scholarships and awards are set amounts of money given to students in recognition of their achievements. Many scholarships and awards require an application to an institution or organization. Schools will also consider all students for special entrance scholarships and awards without any application process. Grants and bursaries are fixed amounts of money awarded to students based on financial need. Some grants and bursaries may have academic requirements as well, but they are not based on merit. These types of financial support require an application. Student loans are set amounts of money given to eligible students by mostly government sources. Loans must be repaid by the student after they have completed their studies. A student loan is different from a regular loan because the lender does not charge interest or require repayment until after the student completes or leaves their educational program. Most banks in Canada offer student lines of credit. A line of credit is a little different from a loan. It's more like a credit card, but with lower interest rates. Self funding is using one's own source of funding to pay educational costs. Some students receive support from their parents or borrow money from family members. Many students also work to save money for school. Some students may even take a year off of school to save money. Now we will cover Ontario Student Assistance Program, OSAP. The Ontario Student Assistance Program, OSAP, is a government financial aid program that helps students pay for college or university. OSAP offers two types of financial aid: grants and loans. A grant is money you don't have to pay back. A loan is money you will need to pay back once you have either finished school or you stop attending school. Ontario residents can apply for OSAP using one application. Each applicant is considered for both grants and loans by the program. Students with greater financial needs will receive a grant. Students who do not qualify for a grant may be offered a loan. Applicants who do not want to take a loan can decline it. OSAP also offers programs to help students repay their loans. OSAP grants and loans can be used to pay for tuition, books and equipment, fees charged by your school, living expenses for full-time students only, childcare for full-time and part-time students with children. The amount of money you can get depends on your education expenses, the amount of money you need for tuition, books, childcare for full-time and part-time students, personal living expenses of full-time students, supplies, and equipment. Course and credits, whether you are a full-time or part-time student. Program hours for students in micro-credential programs only. Personal financial situation based on you and your family's income, family size, dependents, and other factors. To qualify for OSAP, you must be a resident of Ontario. You must also be either a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident, or a protected person, that is a refugee. You must also be enrolled in an OSAP approved college or university anywhere in the world. This includes all public colleges and universities in Ontario and accredited private career colleges. You can check the OSAP website given on the slide to see if your school is approved by OSAP. You may not be eligible for OSAP if you don't meet the academic progress requirements, or you have enough financial resources, including other forms of government aid, to cover your expenses allowed by OSAP. If you report income on your OSAP application that's significantly different from what you reported to the Canada Revenue Agency, CRA. If you have defaulted on a student loan, if you have grant or bursary overpayments or multiple outstanding loan overpayments. If you filed for bankruptcy, made a consumer proposal, obtained a consolidation order, or filed a document seeking relief for the orderly payment of debts. If you have reached your lifetime limit of student loan funding, if you are an international student, and if you are not a resident of Ontario. You must apply for OSAP each year, and applications for the next school year or term open several months in advance. For example, if you will be starting school in September, you can apply for OSAP in April or May. OSAP funding is not automatically renewed. Students must apply each academic year. You must apply for OSAP online, but first, you must register for an OSAP account. You will need your social insurance number to set up your OSAP account. Be sure to save your OSAP access number and password. Next, complete your application. Your application will take about 15 minutes. Before starting your application, you should gather all the information you will need. You will need information about your school and your program. If you have not yet decided which school you will be attending, you should submit an application for each school you have applied to. You will need your parents' or spouse's social insurance number, your tax information, and your parents' or spouse's tax information. Tax information includes income and other information found in an income tax return. You may need to complete your signature and declaration forms and upload them to your OSAP application. You may also need to submit additional documents. From the time you submit your application and the time all your required documents are received, it usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks to hear back. Choose the Check Online option on your OSAP profile to receive an email notification anytime the status of your application changes. It is important to log in and see if you need to provide any additional documents. When you apply for OSAP, you must provide all your supporting documents to your school's financial aid office. You will need to print and sign some documents. You can scan and upload through the OSAP website, or you can submit them in hard copy to your school's financial aid office, either in person or by mail or courier. Check your school's financial aid office for specific instructions. The Master Student Financial Assistance Agreement, MSFAA, outlines the terms and conditions of your OSAP loan. This is a document that must be filed with the federal government's National Student Loans Service Center, NSLSC, which is responsible for distributing the funds provided by provincial programs. You will provide your banking details when you submit this agreement. You only need to sign this document once, the first time you apply for OSAP. But if you leave school for more than 2 years, you will need to sign a new MSFAA agreement. You can complete and sign this document online. Once you're approved for OSAP, you will get a welcome email from the National Student Loans Service Center, which is NSLSC. The website on this slide provides step-by-step process to complete the MSFA agreement. Once your application has been approved, you will either be offered a grant or a loan. You can choose to decline the loan if you do not wish to take it. You must ensure all required documents are submitted to your financial office and the OSAP system has verified your information. The amount of time it takes to review your application depends on a number of factors. including the verification process and any documents that may be required. This can take anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. The money will be issued by the National Student Loans Service Center and deposited into the bank account you included on your MSFAA agreement. OSAP funding is provided in two installments, one at the beginning of your study period and then halfway through. You must repay your OSAP loan. Grants do not need to be repaid unless you leave school before the study period ends. You make repayments to the NSLSC, not OSAP. You can set up NSLSC as a payee on your online banking bill payment system. You may also mail checks to NSLSC or make payments in person at a bank branch. You must start paying back your OSAP loan 6 months after your study period ends. You are not required to repay OSAP loan if your school confirms your enrollment for the next term as a full-time student. You have 6 months after you graduate or leave full-time studies before you need to start repaying your OSAP loan. This is your 6-month grace period. You will be charged interest on the Ontario portion of your loan during your 6 months grace period. This interest will be added to your loan principal, the balance of money you borrow. Within 6 months after you graduate or leave full-time studies, you will get a package from the National Student Loans Service Center with information about your total number of payments, the date of your first payment, the interest rates used to calculate your payment. Repaying student loans is an excellent way to establish and improve your credit score. You can make additional payments on your loan at any time if you want to repay it faster. Website of repayment calculator for full-time OSAP loans is given on this slide. You can extend your grace period by another 6 months if you own or co-own a new business in Ontario or work for or volunteer with a not-for-profit organization. If you are having trouble repaying your loan, you might be able to get repayment assistance. If you have a severe permanent disability and you cannot attend work or school, you can apply for the severe permanent disability benefit. If you don't make your loan payments, you will be in default. Your debt will be transferred to the Ministry of Finance or a collection agency that will take action to collect the debt. An OSAP loan in default also means you could be ineligible for further OSAP until the default is cleared. Your ability to get a car loan, mortgage, or credit card can be affected. Your loan will continue to build up interest on the unpaid balance. Your income tax refund and eligible benefits such as GST, HST credits, and Ontario Trillium benefits can be used to offset your debt. If you file for bankruptcy or initiate a related event, such as a consumer proposal, or if you obtain a consolidation order, you still have to pay your OSAP loan. This means you must continue to make a regular monthly payment. Now we will talk about Ontario Learn and Stay Grant. The Ontario Learn and Stay Grant provides funding for students studying in priority post-secondary programs in underserved and growing communities in northern, southwestern, and eastern Ontario. The program requires you to work in the region where you studied. It responds to labor market needs, including in healthcare. It helps underserved and growing communities get the workers they need for in demand professions. The grant will cover the cost of tuition, compulsory fees, books, other direct educational costs, for example, supplies and equipment. To be eligible for this grant, you must successfully apply to and enroll in the first or second year of diploma, undergraduate, master, or postgraduate program. Be an Ontario resident, be a Canadian citizen, permanent resident, or protected person. Commit to working in the same region where you studied after you graduate. Not be receiving funding from any of the following government programs that are the Begin Initiative Bridging Educational Grant in Nursing, Better Jobs Ontario, Skills Development Fund. Now we will cover financial aid from schools. You can check with a college or university directly to see what financial aid programs they offer. You could be eligible for bursaries, scholarships, work study programs, summer employment opportunities. These are all sources of money you don't have to pay back. The website on this slide provides information on scholarships and bursaries. Some scholarships and awards are intended to students in science, technology, students in master's and doctoral levels, Indigenous students, and newcomers in Canada. Visit your school's website to get a complete listing of scholarships and awards and learn about requirements and application process. Additional links are also provided on the slide for Indigenous Student Bursary, Queen Elizabeth II Graduate Scholarship in Science and Technology Program, and Ontario Graduate Scholarship Program. Student associations and other campus organizations run programs to help alleviate the costs of higher education, such as used book sales, discount programs, and free professional services such as legal aid or accounting. Many schools in Ontario also have food banks on campus to help students who are experiencing food insecurity. These programs are run by volunteers and depend on donations from the community. Check your school's website for information. Now we will cover other sources of funding. In this section, we are going to look at some other sources of funding for college and university students, including scholarships and awards from private organizations, that is, not from the government or your school, student lines of credit, or borrowing money from a bank, and self-funding such as working part-time or borrowing money or borrowing from family members. In addition to scholarships and awards available through your school, you may qualify for funding from community organizations or corporations. Religious organizations may have scholarships for community members. These types of awards usually require an application. It's important to do your research on scholarships and awards opportunities well in advance. If you do not qualify for OSAP or you need additional funding, you can apply for a private loan or a student line of credit from a bank. Banks, trust companies, and credit unions offer student loans and line of credit. Talk to your financial institution for information. Many students working part-time during the year and on school holidays. Summer jobs are another opportunity to earn money for school. Some students even plan to take a gap year to earn money before starting college or university. Another source of funding may be family support. Some families put money aside to help pay tuition fees. Family members may also offer interest-free loans to help cover education expenses. Here are the website links of college and university fees covered in this webinar. You can check these websites and look for the college or university you want the particular information on. These website links provide information on Ontario universities and Ontario Student Assistance Program. Here are more website links for Scholarships Canada and student awards. This webinar has been brought to you by the International Student Connect project. The Government of Ontario funds the Bilingual International Student Connect project to provide relevant resources and tailored services to address the settlement needs of international students and their families. Costi Immigrant Services, a community-based multicultural agency, serves over 39,000 clients annually from 17 locations in the Greater Toronto Area. Costi coordinates and administers this project across Ontario. If you have questions, please either contact us by phone at 1-844-871-4567 or email us at isc@costi.org. Thank you for joining us today.